New style of video, new sweatshirt, eh? New quarter zip. It's a quarter zip today, that's what we're doing. Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi there. My name's Sabrina Clarke. I'm a screenwriter, director, dancer, linguist, and I upload videos to this channel whenever is most convenient for me. So, now you know. All right, gang, as you can tell from the title bar below, today's video is going to be a question and answer. A nice little Q&A. I've been inconsistent with uploads my entire existence on this channel, but also, more importantly, I just haven't been uploading videos at all. It's been roughly a year since my last bit of consistency. So, rightfully so, I have decided to do a Q&A. So last week I put on Instagram, did a little ask me a question. It was the first time I ever did that. And I asked you guys to ask me juicy things, you know, juicy Q's, the real nitty gritty. What do you want to know? And nothing here really surprised me, which is good. So let's just jump into it. Faye wants to know, what is the biggest adjustment post-college that I am making / have made? I want to say erasing self-doubt. So that falls more in the am making category. I doubt myself a lot. It's normal. A lot of people do, mostly because, you know, a lot of my friends have like jobs right after college, and even though that's really not what I wanted to do, like that's explicitly what I told myself I wasn't going to do, I still feel kind of bad because I'm just kind of like, well, why am I not doing that kind of thing? But it is what it is. So I'm trying my best to stop doubting myself. A friend of mine from my graduation gave me this book by Jen Sincero called You Are a Badass, and I've been reading it. It's also yellow, which is cool. Nice theme for this video. And so I've been reading it and trying to get in the habit of like not doubting myself and really believing in my self-worth. So give this video a thumbs up for that. Izzy wants to know, who is the internet's boyfriend? Partially my healthy skin, but mostly definitely Tom Holland. I think that needs no explanation. I think the internet just loves him, and rightfully so. He's a sweetheart. If he ever did anything bad, I would die probably. So shout out Tom. Jillian! Hey Jill, haven't spoken to you in so long. I don't think she really likes being called Jill. I'm so sorry that I did to you, Jillian, but here you go. Here's your question. Jillian wants to know, a life update. Where in the world are you these days? Are you directing full time? Life update? Sure, yeah. So I graduated this past May, and I decided to take a gap year, mostly, as I mentioned already, because I wanted to take a breather and focus on myself and figure out my next steps. I do advertise myself as a screenwriter director. That's even what my resume says, and that's kind of what I'm working towards. I'm a firm believer in putting it in front of me, so that I like putting my goals in front of me so that I know what I'm working towards. And so every time I look at my resume, every time I edit it or send it, I'm kind of making sure, I'm always thinking in the back of my mind, is this really representing myself as a screenwriter director? And I think I'm doing pretty well in that department. So what I'm doing is mostly applying to jobs, anything and everything. So both traditional like desk jobs that are in some way combining linguistics and film, and figuring out a way to do what I love. Am I directing full time? No. Not yet, I should say, but mostly because I moved back home to Maryland and I'm just taking a second to breathe, and also because out of screenwriting and directing, I think screenwriting is more my priority. So full disclosure, when I moved back home, I was completely like down on myself every day, just like crying a lot and upset all the time. Because a lot of times I feel less than, as I already said, and I know that it's normal to talk about, and I want to talk about it, and I don't want anyone policing my actions or what I talk about on this channel. If you don't like what you're hearing, then either don't watch it, or you can send me a respectful note saying, hey, I think I would prefer if ... But I like to have an open dialogue, and so I want to be honest about the things that I'm going through emotionally and mentally, and my mental health has not been the greatest. Mostly because it's hard starting a new chapter in your life. I'm trying not to get emotional, but it's happening anyway. And I just am sick of doubting myself, and I'm really tired of not feeling like I'm good enough, even though I know that I am. And so it's been hard for me to try and find inspiration to write. I have so many ideas, and I've like written them all down throughout my senior year over the past however many years. I'll just jot down little ideas that I have for either spec scripts or pilots or shorts that I want to write, and I just haven't made the time to sit down and do it. Or if I have made the time, I'll usually just write what I was just watching, or write something that just happened in my life that made me frustrated or angry. And so sometimes those are things that you have to work through in order to get to what it is that you really want to write, but I haven't really made the time to do those things. Okay, this will connect to the next question, which is from Graham. Hey Graham. He asks, why do you enjoy filmmaking as a form of storytelling? What about it speaks to you? I'm a visual learner. I'm also a kinesthetic learner, so I really love hands-on things, and that helps really render things into my memory. And I also love writing, mostly because when I write words out, I read them back, and that's better for my reading comprehension. I found that it's also better for my speaking. Like, I've tried my best to make a conscious effort to speak in complete sentences. And so writing and reading back my writing, especially aloud, helps me to speak a little bit better. But filmmaking overall is storytelling through images. And one of my screenwriting professors, Jane Bernstein, she taught us that screenwriting is really learning how to write in images. And because I often will see how something plays out, I like to screenwrite because it allows me to test that ability to actually write out what it is that I'm seeing in my head. And sometimes when you shoot that thing, it never looks like what you want it to look like, but at least it's something. And so for me, I love filmmaking because I get to tell stories through images, and I think that's pretty easy, or at least easy to understand, easier to translate. It's easier to tell a story through photos and shots than it is to write them, in my opinion. AJ wants to know, what is one movie you wish you could watch for the first time again? I love this question, and I've been thinking about it for a week, and I have no answer. I think when I first read it, I was like, Inception, because it's one of my favorite films. Mostly because it's like, it just left a big mark on my heart, I guess, when I first watched it. I think I would also say The Incredibles, because that was kind of my childhood movie. It was definitely my childhood movie, that and Finding Nemo. But I rewatch The Incredibles all the time. I have it downloaded on my Apple Movies thing on my phone. I really, really love it. Also, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, I also have downloaded on Netflix. I think those three, Inception, Incredibles, and Scott Pilgrim, mostly because I always use them as points of reference, as movies that I want to work towards. Like, if I wanted to write if I wanted to do an animated film or a more children-oriented story, I would look to The Incredibles for pacing and things like that. If I wanted to do a psych thriller, then I would go with Inception. And then if I wanted to do a fun, quirky comic book feature, I would definitely look at Scott Pilgrim. So all of those just made such a big impact on my life when I first watched them, and I would love to experience that again. Okay, Maya has 2 questions for me. The first one is, what would newly graduated you tell incoming freshman you? Oh my gosh. I am a firm believer in not having regrets. I don't like regrets. I don't like them. I don't believe in them, mostly because I believe that everything happens for a reason, which I think comes from my Christian faith, but also just the fact that everything ends up working out, which I have come to realize in the past few months. Like, even though I can be kind of hard on myself and down on myself, I see why things happen, or I see why certain things that might have made me unhappy have happened, and what they lead is pretty satisfying and gratifying, so I'm kind of okay with that. But if I had to give incoming freshman me a little piece of advice for college, I would probably say, I tell this to everybody, but don't ignore the red flags. Freshman year, I was taking a lot of classes that I thought were really hard, but I was also really not interested in. Like, I was generally interested in biology and chemistry, but not in that way, to have been taking them both at the same time. I didn't really want that. I didn't really like it, but I made myself do it just cause, and I was afraid to ask for help and or guidance. So I would definitely say don't ignore the red flags and ask for help. Maya's second question was, what will you not miss about spirit people? For anyone who's watching who is not, who doesn't know me from college, Spirit is our Black Student Union at Carnegie Mellon, and I feel like this question would breed a juicy answer to most, but truthfully, I don't have a juicy answer for this question because of my answer for this question, which is I won't miss my schedule not lining up with anyone else's other than Maya's, really, because Maya and I were both in, I was in and she is in Dietrich, which is our School for Humanities and Social Sciences, and everyone else around us was in either some kind of science or some kind of engineering. And so a large portion of events really revolved around other people's schedules, and when other people were busy, I was not, and vice versa. So a lot of times I was spending time with people in Infra, my dance company, if you're not familiar. And shout out Infra, got a little sticky for you right there. And so that was kind of difficult because I would always get jealous that other people, even when I went abroad, I was so jealous that other people were hanging out with each other. I was jealous and upset that people got really close and I didn't get the chance to experience that. But in reality, it's just because our schedules didn't align. And I think that has had kind of an impact on how my relationships with certain people are today. But at the same time, I don't know if I care that much, because I think that the people that I care about the most are the ones who are reaching out to me or who have attempted to maintain contact with me, and anyone else who I feel like I really wanted to get connected to or remain connected to, I reached out to them, and if they didn't hit me back or whatever, I would just cut them off, and that's kind of it. I know that might sound a little bit harsh to some people, but in reality, because I'm trying to push myself towards making decisions that are good for me and sort of bettering my own mental health, it doesn't make sense for me to continue to put in energy to people who don't reciprocate. I'm not a fan of that, never have been, but it was kind of a realization that I had to make. And then on top of that realization, it was a bunch of steps. There were steps that I actually had to take if I believed that I was going to work towards that. So I'm not gonna miss that, even down to graduation, man. There was a graduation ceremony for all of the minority students, and I couldn't even go because it conflicted with my English diploma ceremony. So didn't enjoy that either. Really hated that, but it's whatever. Isaiah, Zay, hey, Zay. Isaiah wants to know what you've been working on. Working on myself mostly. I've been trying to write a little bit more. Things are kind of busy at the moment, and they'll be calm after next week. So probably the second week of July is when things will hopefully start to calm down, so then I'll be able to make time to write a little bit more. But kind of been working on myself, and then on this channel a little bit. There are videos, concepts that I have that I'm really into, but I've been trying to figure out what kind of tools and technology that I need in order to figure it out, So doing that. The most writing that I'm doing though is coming from AP Marvel, which if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, or we're mainly on podcasts, but we also have a YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to us, you should be. But we are a publication that is geared towards giving underrepresented fans, MCU fans, that's Marvel Cinematic Universe fans, an opportunity to express themselves. And so I've been really loving being on the podcast. We've had this week we'll make 57 episodes. So that's really, really fun. And I love being a part of it, and I love doing it, and I love my team. So did I miss anything else? Deja. This is kind of a joke question, but it's fine. I'm still gonna answer it. He said, why is Leica your favorite child and not me, the linchpin in this relationship? So for just a little bit of context, Diaj and Leica are friends of mine who are in a relationship with each other. Super cute couple. Very, 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 very happy for them. Cosign 100p. But Leica posted a photo, and I said favorite child, and that's really because I said that because she had posted on her Instagram story after Diaj had gotten sick. And so I was checking in on both of them, being like, hi, how are you feeling? And you guys look great, so tan, haha. And she was like, you're our mom. And I was like, exactly. So after she posted that, then she posted a photo. So then I commented favorite child. And then Diaj got up in my DMs and was like, why is she your favorite child? And honestly, it's because she's nice. Nicer than you. I'm just kidding. I love you both. Cool. Let's move on. Yes. She says, not juicy, but share your favorite life hack. I don't know. The thing that came to mind just now, I think, would be having 2 accounts on every platform except for Facebook. I don't really like Facebook anyway. But having a public and a private is really great, because on the private, I know Instagram has that close friends feature, but why would you do that when you could just make a Finsta? And so I really appreciate having public and private stuff, because I can talk about the things that I want to talk about to only the people that I want to know those things. And then on my public account, I can just pretend like I'm a hipster or whatever, and pretend like I'm cooler than I am. So that's really nice. Also, Huji is a photo app. If you don't have it, you should get it. But that's a really cool hack, because I got really sick of editing my photos. Also because the lighting, a lot of times, the places where you take photos with your friends has really garbage lighting, and I don't even want to edit them. So I'll just take a Huji. When me and my gals, we go to the club, like this photo that I posted on my Instagram, I took it on Huji because I was like, this bathroom has terrible lighting. Well, it's cute lighting, but Huji would make it even cuter. And Huji just makes your stuff, makes your photos look like they were taken on a Huji disposable from the 90s. So yeah, that's cool. There's a hack, I guess. Dominique wants to know, what are your plans with dance after college? I'm not in a company, but I have been helping out at my old studio anytime they have a show, or trying to get more production experience. So that's another thing that I'm up to, is helping out whenever I can, really. So my old dance studio used to dance at City Dance at Strathmore in Bethesda, Rockville. I don't know what their address is technically, but sometimes I'll take classes. I know that their intensives are coming up, and then they have a location in Tenleytown, and I'll take their adult jazz classes sometimes. I have yet to start this summer, but that's what I'm intending to do. And I know that it's basically July. It's July when you're watching this. But, timing, man. I would like to keep dancing. I would hate to stop dancing. It's really fun for me, and it really is a good stress reliever. And I do miss Infra very much. If I had the opportunity to put a piece on them, I probably would. Maybe. I don't know. It depends on where I am in life, but that's just what I was thinking about a couple days ago. So yeah, still dancing whenever I can. Tyler wants to know my thoughts on Igor. I had so much time to prep for this. I could have listened to Igor again, but I really didn't. I didn't take the time nor the effort to listen to it consciously. When it came out, I listened to it twice through, and I was like, oh yeah, no, this is nice. I was talking to a friend of mine, shout out Jade, the other day, and she had told me that she liked the second half of it better than the first. But to be fair, I don't even really remember it enough to be able to say that, so I don't know if I can agree with that, but I think it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I don't have any really deep-rooted thoughts on it yet. But if you want me to review Igor and do a video on it, let me know, text me or something. And Catherine wants to know, do you believe in soulmates? This is a really interesting question. How much time you got? So yeah, I do believe in soulmates. I think that a person can have multiple soulmates, but I'll define soulmates as being a type of person that fits well with the type of person that you are. So I believe that there are multiple different types of people, like I guess an infinite number of types of people. Not really infinite, that's a little crazy, but well, yeah, there's an infinite number of types of people. No, not infinite. I really feel like we as humans aren't that different from each other. Not really, but with that said, I feel like because there aren't many different types of people, there are opportunities for so many of us to click with each other. And I believe that, I don't know, like I do believe in astrology. Is another thing that I believe in. And I was gonna say some girl, but Angel from Neva, not that you guys know what either of those things are, she's always like, oh, you guys believe in astrology? It's a pseudoscience. So is religion, sweetheart. Like, believing in a higher power is kind of a pseudoscience because there is no scientific evidence of there being a higher power, but faith still exists. So debunk that for ya. Go ahead and, if you're gonna make fun of people for believing in astrology, you should also make fun of people for being Christian or for being Buddhist or for being Muslim. Like, it's the same thing. So if you're gonna do that, you can also make fun of other people and you'll be a dick for it. So even though I do believe in astrology, so like I'm a Scorpio sun, and I believe that, like, I think Scorpios also go well together. Shout out John and Katie. So like because of that, we kind of would know each other in a way to be able to go off each other. But also similarly, like Catherine is a Taurus sun and I'm a Taurus moon, so we balance each other out. Like a lot of my closest friends are Taurians. Like Gilly is also a Taurus sun, so we balance each other out very well. We're basically the same person. It's kind of creepy. Sarah DeLudy, who else? Jaleesa is a Virgo, and I forget where Virgo lies in my chart, but we mesh very well together. She's like my big sister, is like very capable of laying down the hammer. And I believe like your friends can be your soulmates too. Like they're meant to be in your life. I think the term mate it carries such like a specific connotation. And I feel like the definition can be as fluid as gender, you know? So I do believe that people can have soulmates, but I don't think that it's just one person. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for my new videos. You can get notified every time I upload something new when you click the bell beside the subscribe button. Ding. Go ahead and do that. Just give it a like, smash it, and leave me a comment or really just text me because we're all friends here. All right, y'all. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye. I love you, babe, in the scale.